Hey everybody, it's Kevin from JJ Hat Center, the guy with the hats and guitars and stuff. Today I pulled out this is a Les Paul, a Gibson Les Paul. It's what they call a Les Paul standard. And, when you're a little kid and you take up guitar and stuff and you see all these guitars in pictures and in videos and stuff and you've never touched one before, the Les Paul is like, you know what I used to say when I was like 12? A friend of mine told me, Les Paul is the best guitar in the world. We were kids and little kids, and I remember he had like this really cheap imitation guitar. My friend Scott, he was an amazing kid. He played guitar and stuff. I think his grandma bought it for him or something. But anyway, he used to jam out in his basement and let me watch, and I would watch. But he didn't let me touch it. I wasn't allowed to touch it because it was so cool. I mean, this is an electric guitar, a real one. It's here. I got it. You to plug it in. I got an amp. Turn up the distortion. I mean, it's so cool. Wouldn't let me touch it. Finally, I remember he went away to summer camp one day, and came back, and my parents bought me a guitar for like, I don't know. It was my birthday over the summer, July 26th. He came back from camp, and like in a month or two, I become this amazing guitarist, and I was like better than him and stuff. And it's just like, when you first learn, there's this like growth spurt that you get. There's all this knowledge inside you, and you don't really know what it is. And as soon as you're able to translate it onto the guitar, you're like, oh man, you sit there all night just figuring everything out. Like, it's just like an epiphany or something. I remember the first day I was listening to some Clapton album or something, and I heard him playing lead guitar. It was like, typical Clapton, rock blues leads. And I started fooling around with my guitar, and I was like, listening to those notes he was doing. And I figured out that it was like a pattern, like a box. See this? 4 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1. It's like super easy. It's like a pattern. That's why all rock guys are like, able to do this so easily, because it's like a brain dead. It's easy. So the day I figured out lead guitar, it was like, oh my God, I gotta learn this. I was so inspired and just so motivated to learn more and more and more and more and more. So getting back to the Les Paul was just like this icon. It was the best, ultimate thing, And then I remember one day his grandma bought him a Les Paul, and then I got to touch it. I couldn't play it, whatever. And I got my own Les Paul. But this is actually not my main Les Paul. This is it back here. You see this one, Cherry? That's my 1972. It's actually a 72 or a 73. That's my main guitar, and I spent like months and months, like almost a year searching for it, like in the want ads, in the Craigslist, and they have all these different sets of ads. They have, it's like Fiverr, like Reverb.com is a great site. I was checking that, and I was checking eBay. I was checking Craigslist. There's another one called G-Base, and I had all of those sites bookmarked. I checked them every single day looking for a 1970s Les Paul with the deluxe, Les Paul deluxe model. And it had to be the deluxe. This is not a deluxe, this is a standard, actually, I forgot. And I wanted this particular modification, these pickups, and change and stuff. And when I found it, and it was like gold, and I never will ever let that thing go. But this Les Paul, this is a separate one, this is a different one. This is actually a very expensive guitar, lots of people would die for this thing, but I don't really play it, ever, like never. I never, ever touch this guitar. It's because it has a big, thick neck on it. It's what they call 1950 style neck, which is fat. And I actually didn't pick this guitar out. It was a friend and colleagues of mine in the hat business, actually a very good friend. His wife had the guitar laying around the house, and I don't know, they just didn't want it laying around there anymore. So I said I would take care of it, you know. So it's basically just been sitting in my rack, you know, and in its case, and it doesn't really do anything. But I take care of it. I just wash it every once in a while. I dust it. I change the strings, but I just don't play it. The thing is, I think the point is that a guitar or a hat can be expensive. It doesn't mean that you gotta love it though. I'm just not comfortable on this guitar, you know? It's like, I don't know. It's a good guitar, but I don't have it dialed in right, adjusted, and I'm not used to it. It got me thinking that, you know, I have some guitars here that are worth like $50 or less, and I love them. And then I have other guitars that are worth like, you know, almost 2,000 or something, I guess a Les Paul is today. I don't know, 1,500 or something, around there. And I never touch this thing. It's just basically like on loan to me. I sort of just keep it. And I know there are so many amazing young players out there that would just die for this thing, you know? And I keep it just, you know, I never touch it. I feel really bad about that kind of. It's a beautiful instrument, but, you know, maybe one day I'll get into it. Another day, maybe my son wants to play it. But the point I guess I want to make is that expensive is not always good. And don't worry, if your hat is cheap, if it's made in China, big deal. I have those hats too. If your hat is like really beat up or something like that, I don't care. You want to bring it to me and have it, you know, clean, reshaped, stiffened, sized, whatever. I understand that it's very, very important to you. Maybe it was your grandpa's hat, you know, and that's. If I had my grandpa's hat, I don't know what I would do. I would wear it every day or something. I used to wear these silly hats, it was like a fake black fur Russian hat kind of thing. You know, it was such an old man, silly, like old man thing, you know, the way these pom-pom kind of strange things, you know. But it was like so charming, you know, and at the same time kind of cute, and, you know, getting actually a little choked up thinking about it. But if I had my grandpa's hat, boy, that would be worth like more than gold to me. And I think a hat is worth $1 million or it's worth nothing. It's what you think about it. It's the same thing with my guitar. Now this guitar, obviously I respect it and I treat it like it's gold, but I neglect it. I don't touch it. It stays in its case. There's a case right behind the camera actually, and there's a little tag on it. And it just stays in there all the time. You know, I think that the value of your hat, it depends on what you think about it. Now, there is an actual value on hats too. Now, we can talk a little bit about that. There's what makes a hat $20, and what makes a hat $200, and what makes a hat $2,000. Most of the time, it's what it's made out of. The felt is going to determine the price of your felt hat, and the straw that it's made out of in your straw hat. Now, Panama hats are woven by hand. It's actually straw, you know, like grass, like a plant, that they split it with their fingernails and stuff by hand. They match the natural colors of the straw, again, by hand, by eyesight. They throw away like the dark brown ones. They keep all the cream colored ones. They match it, they split it, and they put it on some little thing and they weave it. They start in the center like a little dot and they go out, out, a little circle, out, 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 until it becomes like a big round mat. Okay, then they send that mat is called it's a woven circle. It's called a hat body. They send that out to somebody else in America, Italy, and they put it on these hat forms, these blocks and stuff, and they turn it into a hat. You know, they cut it and they put sweatbands and stuff in. But Panama hats can range from $20, $50, $100, $250, $1,000, $5,000. it's all what the person wants to pay. Now, what sets a hat price at $5,000? That's a weird thing. Now, maybe there's 12 guys in the world who can weave a Panama hat like this particular hat. It's so fine. It's like getting a painting from Van Gogh or something. There's a dozen guys in the world that existed ever that could make these hats, you know, and you have one of them. So, you know, come on, what's that worth? You know, it's a hat. You're gonna sweat in it, and it's gonna last you a few years, and then you're gonna throw it out. It's the same thing as a $20 hat, right? But for that person who owns that hat, maybe it's worth a lot to him because he just loves Monte Cristi fedoras, and he wants to tell all his friends about it. He wants to post on the internet. It's just like me with my guitars. It's my interest. Now, I'm gonna say like this. You know, who can afford that? You know, a $3,000 Panama. Nobody can, okay, but there are a few people who can, and you know, you don't have to feel guilty for having money. Most likely they earn that money, you know, through hard work and stuff, and if they want to spend it on a $5,000 car or a vacation for their family, or sock it away for a college fund, that's fine. If they want to blow it on a really stupid instrument like a green Les Paul with sparkly LED lights on it and a portrait of the Ninja Turtles emblazoned upon it, you know, they could spend it on a really stupid instrument, whatever they want. It's their money, and that Ninja Turtle guitar is valuable to them. And even though it's not to me, you know, I have to respect that. I feel like value is, yeah, there's monetary value, there's regular value. I mean, I'm kind of rambling on here, but I'm definitely getting at something that I think that there is a monetary scale, there's a sentimental scale too. I have my guitars that are worth like $100, this guitar, but I would never, ever, ever sell it because I just know that it's going to be really hard for me to find another Telecaster that sounds just like this. I've got 1, 2, 3 tellies here. They're all completely different sounding. They really are. This one sounds really country and twangy, and it's really bright. It reminds me of this song by the Black Crowes. Bow, bow, bow. What is that song? Remedy, I guess? Yeah. It sounds like Remedy. This guitar just sounds really rock and roll and heavy. My friend said it sounds like a buzzsaw when I turn it. It's like, it's just an amazing like distortion guitar, you know. When you're, this is not set, but anyway. And the third one, this is just a beautiful all-around instrument. It just does everything. You know, it twangs, it rocks, and it's really small in the neck. It's lightweight, it's small body. And I'm just in love with all three of these, but they're different. They're all very, very different. This Les Paul, I guess I could learn to love it. You know, if I need to, I could shave the neck down and make it smaller. But for me, you know, it's just not mine. It's not my guitar. It's not my. I don't identify with it. I don't bond with it. So I feel like, yeah, you know, it's on loan to me. So that's not my main guitar, and it's not something that I really cherish. This one. But it's always a challenge finding the little quirks in each guitar. No guitar is perfect. Each one has strong points, low points, and you have to discover what they do well, what they do lousy. Now, value of felt. Okay, the cheapest stuff is going to be wool felt made in China. It's down here at the floor, okay? Wool felt made in China can be very, very cheap. It can be $20, it can be $30, it can be $45, $50. The best stuff from China is generally this company called Scala. Dorfman Pacific makes like a line called Scala. Some of their hats are also called Dorfman Pacific. They're great. If ladies want like a fascinator, like those little Queen of England hats that go on the side, those little cool, you know what a fascinator, okay. Scala makes fascinators for like, I don't know how much they cost, but they're under $50 and they come in this little cool plastic capsule and stuff, and there's just like 50 different ones, and little top hats and little crowns and beautiful silk, and they're made in China, but they're gorgeous and they're cheap, and they don't look cheesy. They look beautiful. Like you could wear it to a beautiful gown affair, a ball or something. I don't know much about ladies' fashion or formal wear, but I do know that there are cheap things like made in China that are beautiful and exquisite. Now you can get a $59 guitar off of Amazon, brand new. I think they're like Stratocasters, like maybe 69 for a Telecaster. Brand new guitar from China for like $50, and it plays good. All you got to do is just turn some screws, adjust it a little. Now, I mean, that's amazing. Who can resist that? It's made in China. Everybody says there's slave labor and that kids are making them and this and that. But you know what? It's $50. And it looks exactly like the other Strats. Maybe the wood is not the same wood and the pickups are not the same pickups, but it plays great. And you could go out to a club and play one of those jazz basses, precision basses, for like $50 off the internet. Now let's say I don't have a bass for a gig or something, I could just get it from Amazon for $50. I mean, I might be getting paid $100 for like the worst, gig or something. I'm still making money, and I could sell the bass after the gig. So nowadays, it's really hard to resist stuff that's made in China. Now, JJ's, we don't sell anything made in China. The owner doesn't want to do it, and I can understand that. Now, made in China stuff is all over. You come to a better hat shop so you can get something more authentic and more quality. So, yeah, we don't carry it, but there are plenty of people who need to spend $20, $30, $40, $50, $60 on a fine fedora, and they have to go made in China. I'm here to say that cheap things can be great, cheap things can be really cheesy, and expensive things can be great, or they can be cheesy. Cheesy is not always bad too. Sometimes in the guitar world we want low tech, We don't want everything to sound beautiful like all the time. Tone is subjective, like Jack White has his kind of out of tune tone, and everybody thinks he's a genius because he uses cheap guitars. And he just turns out all the treble up, and he just digs into it and gets all sweaty and drunk and everything. It's like raw and punky, and there's nothing wrong with being lo-fi, being low-tech. I think it's cool, especially today, where all the musicians I see have no talent, and they go on stage with these huge pedal boards, and they basically are just touching the guitar, and all these sounds come out of the pedals, and they're barely playing at all, So there's so much like technology and money in people's guitar rigs today. It's almost refreshing to see somebody playing like, a cheap, corny rig, Speaking of cheap, corny. Okay, after the cheap Chinese wool felt will come American-made wool felt. Okay, American-made, U.S.-made felt that's wool. I'm going to say it's good. I prefer it to be stiff. Get some very hard, like you can look in our catalog at JJ Hat Center. Wool. What is it called? A wool derby. Okay, the American-made wool derby. It's made in USA. It's stiffened with lots of stiffener, which is good. It'll help the felt just stay put when the rain and the snow comes. You don't want that hat to be soft because it's made out of wool. It's not made out of fur. So the next step up is going to be US made wool, and those hats, I prefer them to be stiff. a pork pie, a Hamburg, a derby. All those things do great when they're stiff. Fedoras, they start off stiff. They soften up. I don't like them that hard. But Western hats, there are a lot of hats that are great stiff. Those 13th chords. Why do I always play them in this? After that comes light felt. Light felt is a patented type of wool felt that's very soft. It's crushable. You could roll the hats up and put them in your pocket. You look inside the hat, there'll be a little logo on the crown that says light felt, L-I-T-E felt, with a little patent thing, trademark. Light felt is the third level up. This is good wool felt. Great wool felt. It lasts, it's soft, it rolls up, it's got like a lot of technology. There's one guy who makes it, and he kind of doles it out to all the different companies, Bailey, Stetson, like a million different companies have their light felt hats. And light felt is not a brand of hat, it's a brand of felt. It's like when you get a Vibram sole on your shoes. Vibram is not the Nike or the Bruno Magli company, it's the people who made the sole. It's like that. Now, light felt is great. It's hardy, it's cheap. You could roll it, you go out to dinner, stick it in your pocket or your wife's pocketbook or something. It's cool. After light felt comes American-made wool felt. Oh boy, you got me all confused now, Kev. After that, I'm going to say comes, all right, fur felt. A fur felt hat is going to start at maybe $150, something like that. Fur felt hats should generally all be coming from good countries. Czech Republic is a great place. They make some really good stuff. There's a company called Tonak and Celentino. We carry a few of them, but they're fantastic. Mazer from Germany. Miser or Mazer? I always forget. Signa from, they're a really good company from, I believe, Seville, Spain, from Spain. Rocher, Fernandez de Rocher is another custom company. Stetson, fantastic company, especially in westerns, really nice. There are many more I could go into. Biltmore, they used to be a Canadian company, they're now in the US. Biltmore is a really nice brand. Hills hats out of New Zealand. Wow, good stuff. Inexpensive, made in New Zealand. Almost everything is rainproof, like fleece on the inside. It's just really classy. Lots of money for the buck. Lots of quality for the buck. Kubra, also great. There's good brands out there of fur felt hats. After the fur felt hats, you're going to go into custom made fur felt hats. The stuff that is custom made for the hat shop. So we have stuff made to our specs. We say we want a hat made in this shape, with this color, this band, this sweatband. We want it made out of 95% beaver with 5% mink, which is your very best felt. You want all that, and this edge, whip stitch. We want the bow to have this detail, that detail. We want to say JJ Hat Center in gold here, there, with our lining inside. Every single aspect of the hat is designed by one person, and they control the quality. We have a hat called the Seville that we had in 3 qualities last time: 175, 300, and then a $550 quality made out of beaver, which is called the Valencia. Now, 3 different qualities, custom. That's amazing. People love the shape and the look of this hat, and there are 3 different people who want to spend 3 different prices. It's great. Custom stuff is amazing. Then there's truly custom. When you walk into a place and you talk to a hat maker and you say, I want these specs in my hat, you're talking a lot of money for a real custom hat. I'm going to say 500 and up. We can do anything you want, pretty much. You could copy a picture, you could copy an old hat, you can say, I want a 10-inch brand, whatever. You want it to light up, you want it glow in the dark, you want it furry, you want swirls, you want it leopard, two-tone, you want binding on the edge of the brim that's this big with rainbow stitching on it, and then you want 4 different color binding going all the way around it, and you want the bow one color, the band another color, whatever. It's limitless. You can have it hand painted. we've done everything like that. You know, we've had hats with like bones on them and taxidermy stuff like birds and things and skeletons and you know, it's limitless. Ooh, I hate this guitar. Sorry, guitar, I didn't mean that. It's really my fault. I just don't take care of it. Don't bring it to the guitar shop, have it adjusted. I don't adjust it myself. All I do is really dust it, to be honest. Kevin, oh that old Kevin from AJ, hat center.